Astrology versus destiny and karma. You may have wondered if my life is going to be governed by the planetary positions at the time of my birth, which determine my destiny. What is the role of my karmas? Can my karmas change my destiny? You will get the answers to all these questions in this episode. So watch till the very end. You will love this episode. Hi, this is Vasudevan, author of Follow Your Heart, Your Brain is Stupid. This channel is dedicated to those who wish to take charge and to create for themselves a life of freedom, joy, and happiness. Let's jump right into the show. Hi, Arun. Welcome to my chat show. It's an honor and a privilege featuring you in my chat show. And this is for the third time you're being featured. It shows how much our viewers are liking your videos. And that's the reason I reached out to you again and again. Yeah. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Viewers, we have with us an amazing person. His name is Arun Prabhu. For some of you may have already watched some of the episodes where he was featured. And for those of the people who have not watched, let me give you a very quick introduction about Arun Prabhu. Arun is a mechanical engineer and a management graduate by education, an IT entrepreneur by profession, and an author, a coach, a theater artist, and a movie maker by passion. He calls himself a nomad in search of answers to existence.
Yes.
Arun has authored already 2 books been published. I am reading one of the books, the first book, and 3 more books are on the pipeline. So you guys must go and read his books. Very beautifully written books. So don't miss it. Okay. In the last episode, we covered the relationship between karma and destiny. In that episode, Arun very beautifully explained what is karma, what is destiny, what is the relationship between karma and destiny. He also talked about how are the karmas in this life impact what happens in our life, as well as the karmas that we have done in the past lives, how that impact what happens in our life, right? He also talked about how our karmas impact our destiny. It was a very, very interesting episode. And for those of you who have not watched it, I would suggest please go and watch that episode, because some of the things that we are going to be covering in this episode has a direct link to that. You will have a better understanding if you watch that episode too. Okay. I will share the link of that particular episode in the description section of this video, as well as at the end of this video, I will share the link to that particular episode. The topic of this episode is another very interesting topic, which is astrology versus karma and destiny. And this is something which a lot of us keep wondering, what is karma, what is destiny? That he answered in the last episode. Now, how does astrology fit into this? I've been always wondering. I got the right person. And I'm sure many of you would be wondering.
Thank you so much.
Yes. So,
thank you.
Arun, before we jump into the subject of this particular episode, one of the viewers had asked a very interesting question. And the question is, if everything is preordained and predetermined based on the karmas of my past life as well as this current life till now, why should I break my head trying to achieve something which is not preordained for me? I will never get it anyway. So what's the point running after it, right? It's a very valid question. What would be a response to that question, Arun?
When we talk about astrology as a science, I have always been fascinated with astrology. I studied astrology to some extent, and because I'm always fascinated with the universe, with the planets, and how do they rule. And obviously, the question used to come into my mind also that if planets are ruling what I will get in my life, then what's the point of me doing any karma? Because if I have to get that, I will anyway get that. Then why should I actually do any actions? So as we discussed in our last episode also, number one, when we say planetary positions and when we say, next birth, again, in my last episode, we clarified this thing that anything which is destined is because of our karmas. So any planetary position which is happening right now is also defined by my past karmas. For example, if I am born on a particular date, and in that particular date the planetary positions were in a particular arrangement. We'll come to that thing also, that what does this planetary arrangement you know actually means. But if I am born in a certain time period, that is also defined by me in my past birth. So first question first, that जो भी मेरा planetary position है, the birth chart which has been there, and the parents where I have been born, and the place where I was born, was all predestined by me, by my karmas in my past life. For
Right.
example, there have been so many instances of past birth where people recognize their past lives, and they are born in the same country, the same place. Because jitna aapka attachment hoga, the more you are attached to things, the more you will get the same thing in your next birth. So first of all, when we say astrology, as such, astrology is also destined by us only. Okay. Now comes the planetary positions, and where does this astrology come into in picture is, see, astrology as such is a very, vastly understood and developed science. It is a science which has been now, I think so, more than 5,000 years, as much as we know. It can be more than that. And it is a science, it's a proven science. But what is the impact of this science over karma? We should understand this way. I'll give you another analogy. For example, when we were in school, so everyone, I think so, let me ask you, when you were in school, you must be having sections.
Yes.
Okay, we all had sections. So
Yes.
for example, if you were in 7th standard A section, fine. So you had a team of people, you had some students studying with you. In my school, it used to happen that the students who were studying with me in 7th A graduated to 8th A.
Okay.
Fine. So it never happened that half of them will go to B, half of them will go to A, then maybe some of them will go to C. It never happened that way.
Right.
So 7th A went to 8th A, or maybe 7th A went to 8th B. Okay, that was one. Second thing was, if someone failed, then he used to go back to 7th A and not 8th A. And another very interesting thing was, how was the seating arrangement? I don't know whether you relate to it. It used to happen with us. First day, the teacher used to make us stand in a line, boys ka ek line and girls one line. And according to the height, the first benches were the shortest guys. So the shortest male and the shortest boy and the shortest girl used to sit first, then and so and so. So the tallest people used to go in the behind seat.
Right.
Fine.
Right.
Now this is a science. Now, for example, if I know all the heights of the students, fine, and I know your marks. Supposing I get some database, I know how much you scored. I know whether you are a boy or a girl, and I know what is your height, and I know what is the heights of all the students who are studying with you. And if I predict, see, Arun, you will go to 8th A, and your seating position will be 5th from the row with a girl named this. And you'll be surprised. Oh my God, how did you know? Just looking at my mark sheet, how did you know that which class I'm going to go, which seating I am going to sit, and who's the girl who's going to sit along with me? You will be surprised. But then it's pure science. See the facts, logics, height, your marks, your class number. I got those data, and logically the data came in. So that is astrology. When we have certain data, we know that these data will copulate to this outcome. So it's going to happen this way only.
Right.
So when I tell you about the classroom, you're not surprised. But when I tell you about astrology, you are surprised. But the analogy is the same. You have got certain set of data. That certain set of data, when you do your computation, a certain outcome comes in. Now coming back to karma and destiny, what the seed which I got was my karma of how I performed in my last class. For example, if I had failed in my last class, would I be sitting with the same girl?
No.
No. I would be sitting with some another girl. in maybe seventh A, or maybe they would say seventh. All the failures are in seventh B, or whatever. I don't know. So the rules, when you know the rules of the game, and when you have certain data, it is very easy to predict. So all the astrologers are doing is they are getting those data from you, your place of birth, your time of birth, okay, and then they give you the results. So it's pure science. Now, where does karma comes in? Karma comes in because if you see, in last episode also we said that whether you do any karma or whether you don't do any karma, that's a karma. Not taking a decision is a karma. We also gave that example of if you are sitting in a train which goes to Mumbai, and if you want to go to Calcutta, and if you're not changing your train, you will anyway reach Mumbai. That's astrology. Now, how do we, overcome the astrology? Because astrology, planetary positions are only, I think so. There's the moment, it's limited to your birth. They cannot predict my life, our life. It's like when they say ki this period is not good for you. It's like when you are driving in a highway and there is a dangerous curve, and there is a signboard there which says dangerous curve ahead, or accident prone road. Does it mean that everyone who crosses that road will have accident?
No.
It only tells you that you have to drive cautiously. So an expert driver will drive very smoothly, and an inexperienced driver might actually drive very slowly, or maybe have an accident or something. See, when you go to the hilly areas and you drive those buses, you'll be surprised. Matlab, it's very risky to sit on those buses because they drive so fast along the curves. And when I'm sitting I don't sit on the window seat because that heart comes out when they do that dangerous curves and all. But they are so experienced because they do it every day.
Mm.
So which means what? Astrology will only tell you that dangerous curve ahead. Your karma will take you through that curve if you are in control of yourself. That is why if you go to any astrologer and if you tell them or that I am on my spiritual growth or I am practicing spirituality, they will say then better not look into your birth charts because you are going to defeat your birth charts.
Okay.
Your karma can change anything. We have seen so many examples of penance where they extended their lives. I'm not remembering that saint who was supposed to die at 32, and he went to Shiva's thing, and he did penance and he was granted a longer life. There are so many cases of people defeating astrological predictions with their karma. But yes, doing that karma needs a lot of discipline and lot of perseverance, persistence, and hard work. That is where we are all comfortable. So we say, "यार जो हमारा destiny है ना वही मिलने दो." Let's only look at our destiny. Let's not do. So you can take destiny as your shield. People are taking destiny as their shield, not to work, not to grow.
Mm.
Could I
Yep.
explain?
Yes.
And in nutshell, astrology will tell you if you don't take any decision, you are going to go this way.
Mm.
If you are careful, then you can overcome the obstacles. But if you are, if you have that self discipline, you can change your, planetary things.
Okay.
So
So
it's all about probabilities. It's all about probabilities.
So what you're saying is that we should not take the predictions as per the planetary positions as gospel truth. It is just a guideline and saying that this can happen, but you can always change it by doing the right karmas. Is that the right understanding?
I'll put it the other way around. That astrology, for example, astrology is like signboards. When you say highway ahead, now
Right.
I can drive at 120. I can drive at 120. I can drive at 130. Okay. Now suddenly it says school ahead.
Okay.
Now I have to take the decision that no, I will not be driving at 120. I'll drive at 20 or 30 or 40. Because if I drive at 120 and if I have that inclination of driving at 120, I will drive at 120 even if there is written school ahead, and obviously there will be an accident. So astrological predictions are like signboards which say this is the period of enjoyment, this is the period where you might struggle. So where you might struggle, you have to be more disciplined.
Okay.
That astrology is not truth. No, astrology is 100% truth. Another fact is this: most of us don't know the real time of birth. Most of us don't know a place. We obviously know, but many a times the right time of birth is not recorded. So the predictions can vary. But when I say that when everything is ideal, and you have those predictions, it tells you that this is a airy desert, so this is what is going to happen, so carry your water bottles with you. This is a hilly area, so if you are an expert in driving, then so it's basically giving you indications that to be prepared of the hardship which are going to come. But that doesn't mean that you are not going to be successful or you are not able to change your destiny. As I said, na, if you're a good driver, then roads don't matter to you. Rather, you will be more excited when the roads are tough. For example,
Right.
I like driving, so I hate highway driving. I always do off-roading, unpredictable roads and unpredictable this, and that's what excites me.
Yeah, highway riding is very
But
boring,
most of
right?
people say, no, 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 yaar, I want a smooth road. Highway driving is very boring. You
Right.
fall asleep once you have
Yeah,
put your pedal at 120 or 130.
in fact, this actually happened.
Yeah,
My wife, we were in the US. My wife used to drop me at because we had one car which we had, taken it on rent, right? And she used to drop me at my office, and she would come back. Okay, as it is, कुछ है नहीं रोड में, उसके ऊपर ऑटोमेटिक कार है, तो कुछ भी करने का नहीं है. So, and when she was driving,
कुछ भी करने का नहीं.
suddenly, she heard a horn, and she dozed off. This is very momentary. She dozed off when she
हाँ,
was driving, and suddenly she heard a horn, and she got up, and she was almost hitting the curb. So, so I mean, that reminds me of
absolutely.
that particular
So
thing
so
which
in life
happened.
also, in
Yeah.
and absolutely in life also, if you are doing only highway driving, your
Hmm.
life will be decent.
Hmm.
I don't know, matlab, how you won't actually enjoy life if everything is doing so well, everything smoothly going on, which doesn't actually happen. But that's boring. You will actually stop.
Hmm.
You'll say, "Ki yaar, ab man nahi kar raha." You don't have that motivation to live. What is the motivation to live? The motivation to live is the thrill of life. Why do people go to these parks, adventure
Hmm.
parks? Why? Because that's the adventure which they want. They pay to get this, and when in life they say, no, no, in life I don't want any adventure. I'll go to adventure park, pay there for those thrilling rides of
Right.
roundabouts and all those things where the tongue almost comes out and you scream. But that's what life is all about. That's why we love the uncertainties.
Hmm.
So when I say astrology, yes, astrology is a markup. You should know, but then don't get bound by ki, okay, this is going to it's like going to an accident prone zone and say, oh my god, now I resign to fate, there's going to be an accident, so tata bye bye boss. There's no accident prone zone means drive carefully, that's it.
Hmm. Great. I think
And that's
that's.
why we say that when you are into the spiritual journey.
Hmm.
Yeah, sorry.
There's a lot of clarity that I've got also, because this used to be bothering me. And what you're saying is astrology are like those signboards on the road. And these are like warning signs. It's up to you. You take heed of it or you don't take heed of it. Yeah, got it. The other question I have is, it is linked to the same, this question is that if my planetary positions are going to have an impact on my life, right? Would that also not affect my karmas? And therefore, what happens to me in my next birth? If these planetary positions have an influence on my karmas, what I do will then impact my destiny. It could be in this birth, or it could be in the next birth. So I mean, this is a little bit of a confusion, though I think I got the answer, but if you can give a little more clarity on that.
Yeah. I'll give you another analogy for that. See, for
Mm.
example, when we say planetary positions, it's like the environment outside. Fine.
Right.
And we are all affected by the environment outside. So it's like this. If I say, if you are going from Delhi to Mumbai, I'll say, okay, beach mein there will come a place where it's very hot. Then there's some place it will come where there is very cool. So you get those environments. So obviously, if you are sitting in a very hot environment, you will always be disturbed. See, for example, if the AC is not working, nothing is working, you are sweating, and somebody comes to you and he just tells you something, you get irritated, and you might actually overreact to that condition. And in the same way, if everything is cool, the AC is working fine, everything is the breeze is blowing and I'm very sitting in a calm, in peace of mind. I have a peace of mind. And if somebody comes and even shouts at me, I'll say, yeah, why are you shouting? Come on, sit down, yeah, relax. See, my reaction depends upon the environment outside. Fine. Now, when we say karmas and discipline, when I said karmas and discipline in my previous this thing, so if you are in control of yourself, which means whether it's hot outside or whether it is cold outside, you are not disturbed. Your balance is there. You will react the same way. Fine. But if you cannot control yourself, then the environment outside will make you do some things. So obviously, when we talk about karmas, when you talk about karmas, your karmas are affected by your thought process. So when I'll give you another analogy. For example, if you are going to a place and in between there are three places which come in between. Now you see how your thought process changes. First of all, when you are going there, you suddenly find that there is a graveyard, and you have to pass through a graveyard.
Mm-hmm.
Can you feel pleasant about the experience? You'll suddenly feel, okay, what's the point of living, when everyone is dying? Suddenly your thought processes change depending upon which place you visited. Fine.
Right.
And then you go ahead and you go via a hospital. And in the hospital, there are so many people dying, ambulances coming, tima, tima, and all those. You see the bodies, and then you say, oh my God, people are suffering so much. Your thought process again changes.
Mm-hmm.
But again, when you go ahead and you see a wedding ceremony, celebrations, people are, rejoicing, you say, no, life is really worth it. See, in that same distance, you have three different thoughts when you go through three different places.
Correct.
Again comes the same thing. When astrology, we say ki karmas, yes, because you are going through that planetary position, because the planet is like this, you will tend to think that way. See, I'm again saying you will tend to think that way.
Got it. Okay.
You will think that way is in your control. You tend to think that way is destiny. You will think that way is karma.
Got it. Okay.
Could I differentiate?
Yeah. Right.
At the same place, if suppose I'll give you another analogy. If Lord Buddha was going through all these three places, what would you think? Would he be perturbed about it? He would say, "No, this is also life. That is also life.
Nothing will.
Celebration is also life. Part of life.
He'll have no impact on him because he's reached that stage.
It will have. So
yeah.
Yes.
Right.
So he's stable. So again, every time what I'm saying, karma is basically working on yourself. And that is why you have all those, why do you have all those rings and everything? Because those rings will cancel that vibration. For example, I'll give you another example. You are passing through a graveyard, but there is a music system which is going on, and that music system is distracting you by playing some beautiful songs. Now, will you have the same feeling? No, because you pass through that graveyard, you are distracted by the beautiful song, and you couldn't notice the graveyard, so you didn't feel the impact of the graveyard. But at the same time, if you're passing through a wedding ceremony and there is a sad song being played, you'll still feel that thing. So those rings and those things which they prescribe you, they are all distractors who will distract you during that period of time.
Okay.
It's basically a crutch for you to fight that bad period which will come in. Could I explain?
Yeah. I think.
But have you seen? But have you seen any saint? See, any saint, do they wear any rings? No
I don't think. I've never seen.
No moti, nothing. Their hands are always without anything because they understand that I am not affected by the environment outside. I have my environment inside. So it doesn't matter whether it's too hot. It doesn't matter if it is too cold. I am peaceful. And when you are peaceful, you will always do the right karma.
Right.
So, yes, if you say astrology, yes, it is a science. If you say all these gems and stones, yes, it is a science. But these are all for those people who say, I cannot walk by myself, so I need those crutches. So, no harm in taking those crutches, no harm. But again, being slave to these crutches for a temporary period. Would you always want to walk through with these crutches lifelong?
No.
That's my question. Then you have to master, deep inside. You have to master deep inside. You have to go through that self-discipline.
Because of your experience in the theater, your analogies are so beautiful, I must say. Hats off to you,
Thank you.
Arun. In fact,
Yeah, thank
many
you. Thank you
many
so much.
people, viewers who watched your first episode, comment that they like the analogies, because the analogies really help to drive home a point. It helps to give you that understanding. Great, thanks. Yeah. The another question is this: in marriages, especially the arranged marriages, we match horoscopes, the girls and the boys horoscope, right? And I've seen in my circle and many different neighbors, families, and all. I've seen that marriages which have happened where the horoscope match has been very very good. Excellent horoscope matching has happened. Whatever be that matching, I don't know what it is, but they said the matching is perfect. You should go ahead, and they get married. But those marriages fall apart very very fast. Many of those, not all, but many of them. However, there are marriages where the match has been much less, or probably not even there. Those people are having leading a very blissful married life. I always have this in between me and my wife. I say, what is the point going and matching horoscopes and all that? It doesn't make sense, because we have seen so many things. It was matched, nothing worked. We have seen that marriage where there very little match has been there, they are happy, very very happy. In 30, 35 years, 40 years they have been together, nothing has happened. How do you explain this? Yeah.
Good question. Good question. See, whether astrology or whether not, I'll say, marriage is, a partnership of two idiots trying to make, sense of their relationships. Fine. So when we get into marriage, it's basically we think that everything is, beautiful. Okay, we see the positive points, but we need to understand that again that it's a partnership of two idiots where they have to live along your life long. They have to live together. So if we see any person, we have got 5 good points and 5 bad points,
Right.
and those good points and bad points are actually the same. For example, let me give you another case study. For example, if I am a talker, I love talking, fine. And if there is a girl who's a listener, who just wants to listen, the extroverts and the introverts. Now they make a very good match. Right. Because a talker always wants a listener and a listener always wants a talker. So that's a perfect match. So when you say Kundali Milan, it's basically they say, okay, a talker should have a listener. A doer should have a servant. I'll not say servant, a serving, attitude. Right. There are some people who take the mashal and say, "तुम मुझे खून दो, मैं तुम्हें आजादी दूंगा." But there have to be some people who say, "मैं तुम्हें खून दूंगा." If everyone says, "तुम मुझे खून दो, मैं तुम्हें आजादी दूंगा," तो खून कौन देगा? Who's going to give the blood? ठीक है? So there is always a leader and a follower. There is always a talker and this thing. Right. So when we say Kundali Milan, it's basically matching a talker with a listener. Fine. But when I say two idiots, it means this: ki anyway, after some time, the talking and the listening business is going to go over. Right. You can't have lifetime listeners and talkers. That is when you suddenly find out that he talks too much, and the other person says she doesn't talk at all. And that is where the problems start coming. Right. So whether Kundali Milan or no Kundali Milan, it's only telling you that you will have to do less work. But can't two talkers also live together? They can, but they'll have to do a lot of disciplinary work in themselves. Right. So again, coming back the same thing, if you have mastered yourself, Kundali Milan or nothing, anything won't matter. But if you have not mastered, then it's like this, better have Kundali Milan so that you will have to do less work on yourself. Could I explain? Yes. Milan is good if you have the right birth charts. It actually tells you, that the life is going, you will have to do less work on yourself. Got it.
So, viewers, wasn't that a wonderful perspective? I am sure you would have loved it. What we're doing in this series of episodes is to create awareness about the factors that impact our life, so that once we have that understanding, we will be able to take charge and live a life of choices rather than being a victim of circumstances. That's the whole purpose of this series of episodes. Okay, so what I would like you to do is, do post your comments. If you have any specific questions, write the question, or you want some additional clarification, do write that, or you want any specific topic, and I'm going to share with you at the end of this what's the next episode we are going to be doing. But feel free, post your comments. We would love to hear your comments and your feedback, and what other areas you would like us to cover. Okay, so if you found value in this episode, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel, because the next episode is going to be another very, very interesting episode, and it's going to be on Vastu versus karma and destiny, right? So this is
Sure.
another thing which I felt would be something which we have all heard about Vastu, but we don't know really what it is and how does it really impact. What is the connection? That's what we're going to be covering in the next episode. Until then, see you. And Arun, thank you very much once again for a
Thank you
wonderful
so much.
session.
Thank you.
Loved your analogies.
Thank you.
Loved the way you drove home the points in a very simple manner. Viewers, see you in the next. Don't forget to subscribe so that you don't miss that next episode. Okay, see you. Bye bye. See you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.